I call to order this emergency meeting of the Town of Silver City Council pursuant to Section 2-82 of the town's municipal code. In attendance through remote electronic communications are myself, Councilor Bedeston, Councilors Bedeston, Amon Smith, Ray Jr., and Cano. Will those in also Mr. Brown. Will those in attendance please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all. Thank you. During this meeting, any member of the town council who speaks shall first identify him or herself and shall continue to do so throughout this meeting prior to speaking. The act of identification shall also apply when the individual councilors indicate their vote during a roll call. Each councilor shall now confirm that they can hear the voice and communicate with all other councilors. The proof of this ability shall be accomplished by each councilor identifying her or himself at this time.
Cynthia Bedeston, yes, I can hear.
Councilor Amon Smith, yes, I can hear.
Councilor Ray? Councilor Ray?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Councilor Amon Smith?
Councilor Amon Smith is here and I can hear fine.
Did I call all the councilors?
No, I'm next. Councilor Cano.
Oh, Councilor Cano.
I can hear. I can hear. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, are you still with us?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. As indicated by the official notice of this meeting, the purpose of this meeting is to approve/disapprove a resolution declaring a public health emergency within the town. This is a purely governmental function and public input will not be solicited. However, this meeting has been organized to be remotely available to the public live as it occurs. The opportunity to witness this meeting remotely with instructions was provided for in the legal notice of this emergency meeting. The only item on the agenda under new business is approve/disapprove resolution 2020-11, a declaration of a public health emergency for the town of Silver City. I will be sponsoring this resolution as Chief Executive Officer of the town. I, Mayor Ken Ladner, hereby move to approve resolution number 2020-11, a declaration of a public health emergency for the town of Silver City. Whereas multiple New Mexicans have tested presumptively positive for the novel coronavirus COVID-19, and whereas COVID-19 is a respiratory disease that can result in serious illness or death and can spread in droplets from person to person, and whereas the World Health Organization, in parentheses, WHO, has officially declared a global pandemic of COVID-19 coronavirus. And whereas on March the 13th, 2020, the President of the United States declared a nationwide emergency pursuant to the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act. And whereas the governor of the state of New Mexico has declared a state of health emergency, invoking all powers under the All Hazard Emergency Act, NMSA 1978, 12-10-1 through 12-10-10 in order to contain and combat the virus. And whereas the New Mexico Health Secretary has issued a public health order suspending mass gatherings in New Mexico effective immediately in order to prevent the spread of the virus. And whereas the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has advised that local governments should take immediate action to limit the spread of the virus through social distancing, cancellation of public meetings, limiting public gatherings and events, and implementing additional public health and education measures to prevent, contain, and mitigate the virus. And whereas the governor of the state of New Mexico issued a directive to minimize face-to-face contact while continuing service delivery and encouraging local governments to do the same, which will limit person-to-person contact in order to emphasize social distancing. And whereas the Town of Silver City Office of Emergency Management, in parentheses, TOSCOEM, is coordinating with county, state, and other stakeholders and partners for planning, public information, and resource requests. And whereas, prior to the adoption of this resolution, the Town of Silver City has incurred expenses due to the governor's declared state of health emergency. And whereas the Town of Silver City has complied with the state requirements for notification of an emergency meeting of the Town of Silver City Council to discuss and act on this resolution, including the waiver of reporting requirements during a state declared emergency. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Silver City Council, by this resolution, declare that, 1, by virtue of the authority provided by the All Hazard Emergency Management Act, NMSA 1978, 12-10-1 through 12-10-10, and local plan resolutions, we do hereby declare the Town of Silver City to be an emergency area as a result of COVID-19 coronavirus for the purpose of exercising necessary emergency powers and expenditure of available resources, requesting aid, assistance, and relief programs and funds available from the state of New Mexico and the federal government. And 2, Town of Silver City departments are directed to utilize town resources and to do everything reasonably possible to assist affected areas of the town in an effort to respond to and recover from the outbreak. And 3, as a result of this event, it is the responsibility of the Town of Silver City officials to control town resources, parentheses, finances, equipment, facilities, personnel, etc., close parentheses, and manage and coordinate those resources for the control and spread of COVID-19 and maintain public health. And 4, the town manager is hereby granted and delegated all necessary and proper authority to implement measures to allow for flexibility of time and location of work, including off-site and telecommuting and hours of operation for all employees during this period of emergency.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr.
Mayor?
Yes.
Councilor Cynthia Bedison, I second the motion as stated.
Thank you. Before turning it over for discussion, I have asked Mr. Alex Brown if he would give us an explanation of why this resolution is necessary. Mr. Brown?
Mayor and Council, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Jeff Fell, the town's emergency manager, so that he can explain the situation. Jeff?
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Mayor, Council, this is Jeff Bell. I'm currently acting as the role of emergency manager. So, Mayor, in response to your question, the purpose of this resolution is outlined there in number 1 under the therefores. The purpose of this is requesting aid, assistance, and relief programs and funds available from the state of New Mexico and the federal government. So the Grant County has already passed a similar resolution to this, and by all intents and purposes, every municipality, village, etc., within Grant County falls under their resolution. But we've been directed by the State Department of Homeland Security to very highly encourage municipalities and villages to pass their own independent resolutions, so that when money does start coming down through the state, it will actually be more streamlined and easily obtained by the towns. So that was some direction that we were given earlier this week by the Department of Homeland Security, and that's what started this process of the town proposing our own resolution. So I just want to be clear for the public that because we are going through this formal channel of declaring a public health emergency, things haven't changed here within the town. We still don't have any confirmed cases of the virus. We're still working hard to get our message out to the public. What this does is it streamlines funds that will come from the federal and state governments to help us, not only as a government, but the citizens, to recover from this.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the council?
Mr. Mayor, Cynthia Bedison. I have a comment. And as far as I understand, Mr. Fell and Mr. Brown and councilors, that this suggestion came out of a conference call that the mayor to municipal mayors in the New Mexico Municipal League and the executive committee of the Municipal League, wherein one of the managers was on the phone and mentioned that this needed to be done, and it was in order for us to recapture FEMA A and FEMA B category. And that is fairly broad. So, and I know that we needed to individually capture, and that's why Mr. Bingaman, from the Chief of Staff of the Governor, he went and asked for that Department of Homeland Security in emergency, in New Mexico, to give us more guidance. That was sent via, I think, the New Mexico Municipal League as well, to make sure that we covered these bases, because we were incurring costs. And I know that Mr. Brown has already started to tally those costs. It's important to do this. So I am clearly in support of this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions for Mr. Fell, for Chief Fell? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion within the council? There being no discussion, I am doing a roll call vote of the council. Each councilor will identify her or himself prior to casting a vote. Councilor Bedeston,
Aye, Cynthia Bedison.
Councilor Kano,
Guadalupe Cano, aye.
Councilor Amon Smith,
Linda Amon Smith, aye.
Councilor Ray,
Aye, Jose Ray. Aye.
thank you. Motion carries unanimously. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn. And again, please identify yourself.
Mr. Mayor, this is Counselor Amon Smith, and I move to adjourn.
Councilor Amon Smith,
I move to adjourn.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Mayor, this is Counselor
Do we have a
Cano, and
second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Again, I'll ask for a roll call vote. Councilor Bedeston,
Cynthia Bedison, aye.
Councilor Kano,
Guadalupe Cano, aye.
Councilor Ray,
Councilor Ray. Aye.
Councilor Amon Smith.
Counselor Amon Smith, aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank everybody. We are hereby adjourned.